Okay, so this game is the second game that I promised you, and it's probably the filthiest game of Dota 2 I've ever played. I were playing party ranked with one of my friends, which playing the Klings, and I had a very terrible lane because they decided to put 3 enemies up against me. So I died 5 times total, and I don't even have my Manta, which is the item I'm about to buy here. You got to keep in mind, like net worth, gold lead, all of that good stuff. You can't see that when you're playing in a game. And it's 16 to 30. So we've recently reached a point where I'm starting to get some items and getting back in the game. And you can kind of see that they have more net worth on their course than we have, but not by much. So we are in a position where we probably solid. The only issue is we can't fight them in a team fight. So, you know, what do you do when you can't fight them in a team fight? You make sure that they don't have any creeps. So what this is called is that you cut the creep wave, which means that they can't push without creeps to tank the tower and disable the backdoor protection. So we just go behind them, take out all their creeps, and then I have an ability called Blink, which allows me to teleport around. So if they go for me, I just teleport away. Meanwhile, my friend is the real MVP in this game because he's the one destroying the buildings. Like, he's the one doing the building damage. I'm mostly here just trying to distract them and, you know, help control that they can't push. So you can see that they rather easily takes the tower there. And they're ready to finish. Like, these guys are ready to finish. They have very hard team fight. They have Chaos Knight and he's like, he have an Aegis, he have like extra life. They're ready to finish. But I got an illusion rune and sent the mid to stop the creep wave. My friend is taking care of this creep wave and I'll take care of this creep wave. Which means they aren't getting any creeps to disable the backdoor protection. And then they can't push. You can get to see like the idea of what I mean when this game is pretty damn filthy. Right now we are in the calm before the storm even. So, like, not much is going on, we're just playing careful. I'm trying to get all my items, and that should be my top priority as an anti-mage. Like, at this stage I should have way more farm than I have, but I don't, because I was basically bullied in the early game, at least in my own opinion. As one would imagine when you have 0 kills but 5 deaths. And Anti-Mage isn't the best fighter early, he needs farm, he needs like Battlefield Mantic before he can fight, as an example. But I'm just, you know, making sure that I get some farm, so let's go ahead by like a while here. You can see they're starting to make a bit of a dent. This is like, what, 7 minutes later. And I feel like I'm finally ready to fight. I've also picked up my Scepter, which allows me to reflect a spell that's cast at me every 12 seconds. That's what this item does for me. And we're ready to like take our first fight. We're actually in the net worth lead. But at this time we just know, like, look at my the damage I'm taking. We can't fight them. Like, even though we had a good chance of fighting them there, it's not going well. And I'm just distracting them there while my friend is, you know, finishing the job. Illusion. And compared to before, I have 1 kill now, 6 deaths, 3 to 2 last hits, which is a meme for throwing, like losing the game intentionally in Dota 2. And just 3 assists. And you can just see how this isn't going that well, even though we have a lot of gold on our team. We just can't fight them. They're just way stronger lineup in this stage of the game. And you can still see we have made sure that this is pushed in, this is pushed in, and this is pushed in. So they can't even push, even though they are in a position where they should be able to. Now we try and go a bit further ahead. This is where they realize they can't take through the backdoor protection here, and we're still doing this filthy stuff. We're just doing that all the time, just so they have to react to us, teleport back, and basically buying time, extending the game until we are in a favorable position. And that's our strategy in this game. Now, this may seem very filthy and overpowered, and it is very filthy, but it's not overpowered. Because if they really wanted, they could escort a creep wave and just finish the game at any point in time. The game is theirs. Like, they could have finished it before, like, they should have finished. Like, I even have a Lincoln Sphere, which is just basically the same as this for me. Like, Anti-Mage gets a special thing out of the Scepter, as I talked about earlier, which reflects a spell and prevents it from hitting him. This just prevents him from being hit by 1. So this means I'm prevented from being hit by 2. And they keep trying to catch me, but they aren't succeeding because now I also have, again, these two that prevents me from being catched, basically. But they allowed me to do this before I even had the Manta, and that's where their mistake was. Like, they could have killed me, they could have picked me off there. And, like, my friend is even, like, we know that we have to die for this. We know we have to at least, like, try to prevent them from pushing, because we just want, you know, the game to drag on until we are in a very favorable position, as I've stated. And I just need, like, one more item now, and then I feel like I'm, you know, pretty much ready to finish the game on our part. But we still can't fight them, and they actually have a net worth lead. So we're just keeping on with the strategy, and I'm not even kidding, we've been doing this strategy for like 20 minutes now, while, again, any point in time, they could probably either kill me before I had the items, but now they can just escort this creep wave, so I shouldn't be allowed to do that. I just shouldn't. But I am. And then I'm also making sure this doesn't go in here, so that they can't fully push here. And we have other heroes like Viper with the Nether Toxin that helps clean the wave that is at the tower, which means that, you know, this works very well with that. If we didn't have that Viper, we probably would have lost long ago. But seeing as we have me, the Clinks here, and the Viper, as well as like other good high ground defense, it really makes them hard to push, or for them to push. But again, long ago they could easily have finished it. They could have easily escorted a creep wave and prevented us from doing this gimmick thing. So I decided to go a bit ahead here just to not waste you guys' time to where, you know, the interesting part of the whole game basically starts. Most of the team is dead. They're basically going inside our base here, or, you know, they won this tower, and they can actually go through backdoor protection, and the creeps are also coming just to make sure that, you know, they actually get through, because we, again, some of us are down, and I'm only ready now to like cut this creep wave, and I've been busy bottom, and that means they basically just like that took our barracks there, and they're ready, they're in a position to finish now. Trying my best to like basically kill them, force them away, so that we can have a chance to keep resuming our strategy. And this is where, like, this was a mistake by him. He literally went way too far in without his team, while his team were focused on me. And as a result, he died. If he had been with his team there, they could probably have killed me and won the game right there. Seeing as that's not the case, we're just gonna resume our very filthy strategy here. And this is where the tide starts turning, I believe. Just gonna speed it up a bit here. 1.5. So I wanna kill this guy, and it pretty much works. And this, seeing as, you know, 3 of theirs are down, we're just gonna take a return barracks. They even buyback. So right now I'm just distracting them, because meanwhile on the middle, my team and, you know, my friend is doing his work. So my objective wasn't really taking this. I wanted to, but I couldn't, because these guys kept being there and I had to fight back to distract them. So I'm basically just distracting them while my team are able to do a lot of stuff, even though they did die there. I blinked in and took this, which means that now their base is looking pretty empty. And we suddenly have the advantage here. We even have a 9k net worth lead at this point, because of the buybacks, the buildings, all of the good stuff. And we've even outlined our mid lane here and got, like, made sure the top always pushes for us, which makes our whole strategy way more easy. Especially considering we lost this piece of defense here. Just gonna speed up a bit until the next, you know, step happens in the whole thing. So right now I'm just, you know, trying to make a ruckus, make them follow me around, distract them basically, and go pretty well. Like, they're playing right into our hand. Like, that's the thing. The whole game we've been dictating the game pretty much, and they've been playing into it. And that's also why it's going so well for us, and why we are really, like, taking over here. And I'm just distracting literally all 5 of them here. Sure, I'm not doing that well in kills or anything, but this isn't a game that's about killing for us. It's just about buying time, distracting them, letting them play our game, not play their game, because their game is just win one fight and finish the game, because they have a lineup that can do that. And my friend meanwhile took this here. I actually go for a kill here, because I feel like I can, but that was a mistake, because now I don't have anything to escape with. And they actually kill me. And I believe that's my first death in a long while. Also, if you look at this Weaver here, you have 23 kills up, like here in the thing. You have a lot of farm and you have a lot of assists. That's because he was part of the tri-lane that went against me. And they basically have a 3-stack, which means that the Chaos Knight here, which was supposed to be the actual carry, he was solo laning. Which in turn makes this guy like lower on farm, as you can see in the net worth if you've been following this game. The Weaver is on top, he's like their carry as a result, because he's part of that 3-stack that have been, you know, basically keeping him going. While I haven't had that luxury, because their 3-stack beat like the 3 people we had at bottom. Not only because they're more coordinated as their pre-made stack, you know, like they signed up for the game together, but also because they have stronger heroes. Right now my friend is just trying to buy space for me to respawn, because I can delay them more. Meanwhile, they just kill him. Like, it's not going too good for him, but he's doing what he wants, and that is taking the abilities. I even took the ranged one, which means that there's only one left. And once we have that, the game is pretty much, you know, won by us. Unless they decide to go all in on mid lane. So let's go a bit more ahead and see what happens. Nothing really happened, we're just, again, I think my friend died again, trying to get the barracks here again. Didn't work out too well, and then my job is now just to make sure that he, you know, respawns without them being able to do anything, so I'm just distracting them repeatedly. This is why this is so filthy. Because they're basically just hunting me down over and over, and it's not succeeding for them. As soon as they start ignoring me, because I can't actually do that much. The problem is they aren't ignoring me. If they just ignored me, I would have to go back and fight them, and then they would win. They could have done that way earlier as well. Aside from us, you know, basically cutting the creep wave, but then they could have exploited the creep wave and not play our game and, you know, just ignore me. Or go for the lane that the Klings were in and just, you know, go that lane, because I were taking care mostly of the mid and this lane, and they couldn't catch me, but they could kill the Klings. So they could have gone for the top lane and just went through there, but they keep going for the mid lane. So they're basically, you know, again, playing exactly our game. You can look at the kills. They have 55 kills. They are totally destroying us every time there's a fight. We can't fight them. Like, we have 5k net worth lead. We have basically destroyed the entire base, and we still can't take a single fight against them because they have such a strong team fight lineup. At this point, net worth doesn't even matter that much anymore. Like, I'm done with items. I have an Abyssal Blade that I'm swapping out with the Battle Fury here, because the Battle Fury is so I can basically cut the creep wave repeatedly, like keep farming and pushing in. And the Abyssal Blade is more for fighting, in case I want to try and kill somebody to make sure that, you know, we can finish the game. Because we're really just looking to distract them and getting them apart so that we can get a kill. I actually almost died there, and this is where I'm trying to, like, but they are onto me now. Like, this time they aren't playing into my hand and not following me. They're like suspicious. They know what we're up to now, but it's way too late for them. This is why this is such a, like, filthy game. Like, it's so much filth because we're playing in such an annoying way where it's basically hit and run tactic, because we can't fight them. So if we want to win, we have to hit and run. And I believe several times in this game they were saying in the all chat, I'm not sure if any of that gets in the video because we're skipping around, but they were saying that they were gonna report us because they hated, like, how we played. Like, you actually can't report somebody for playing the most optimal way or playing good, but they're still gonna report us for, like, communication abuse, feeding, or whatever. Since they're the enemy team, they can only, you know, report us for communication abuse. So that's what they're gonna do, even though we haven't really, you know, done any communication abuse. We haven't really talked to them or anything. And here I distracted them. Worked out. They left their base. My friend got the building. I believe he's pretty much doing all the building damage on our team. Pretty much alone. I'm not doing that much. I'm just, again, distracting them. Now we're looking very good. Now we just need to force a fight, but this is where they're doing this. They're starting to be like, now they have nothing to lose basically. And this is what they should have done before. And if they had the whole team with them, if they were coordinated and had, or just left Zeus back, like this guy, they should have left him back. But they needed Rubik to be there. And also Abaddon here, they needed all of them to be there. We have been using buybacks because they actually got us there. And this is where you can see, like, this isn't actually that strong of strategy. We are at the stage where we want to be, but they are still almost, you know, just going for the finish here. Especially if their carry had been more farmed, if they had actually given him the attention that he needed. But instead they are now in such a bad situation where they have to have at least one hero back, and they actually have to even buy back to defend their base. If they had done this way earlier, they would have been in a way better position to do so, as they are not. And the game is just looking like it's ours. Just gonna speed it up a bit more, because we're just at the stage where we are waiting to finish the game here. We even got like Roshan, like getting my friend the extra age, like basically extra life, because now we want to finish. I know I'm saying a lot of the same things at the same time, but it's just because it is a very repetitive game. We're basically doing the same strategy. Also, the Zeus just literally saved me there. That's why I'm like, thanks for the save. Not being like snarky or anything. It's just he actually saved me with this thing, like making me immune to physical attacks. And the whole strategy here is that we are banking on them making bad decisions repeatedly. And that's basically the game. We've been keep putting them into a situation where they have to make a decision. They have to choose one or the other, and they keep choosing the wrong thing. And that's why we won the game. Basically the filthiest game ever played. Apparently this is a bug that sometimes happens because they made like a new level up system. So this was the first Anti-Mage game I played after the level up system, so that's why it also pops up and is bugged like that. But we're gonna have a look at the scoreboard afterwards here and see. You can see they were so far ahead in kills, they were beating us up. But we just kept dragging out the game. Even though I were like 5 deaths and didn't have that much farm, I still ended up having the basic average GPM that you have as in a very good game as Anti-Mage, which is like around the 800 mark. You can see the damage we did, and you can also see I didn't do that much building damage, but my friend were all on top of it. Did almost 16k building damage, just making sure that we won that game. In terms of who killed who, you can see here, like, who killed who basically. I wasn't able to kill the Weaver. Almost none of us were, because that was their, like, carry in that sense. That was their guy with all the farm on their team. And for a long while as well, but he, you know, kept falling off because they kept making bad decisions. So, this is just basically how to play probably one of the filthiest ways to play Dota ever. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again next time.